$6.1 billion. That's the news we're going to get off to this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Voodoo Sports Show. Today is Thursday, March 20th, and we have some news and some sports to talk about today. We're going to first talk about the sale of the Boston Celtics. We're going to look at the current standings of the NHL, and of course, March Madness starts in literally an hour from now when I press the record button. So, start off the news at 10 o'clock this morning. It was reported across sports of the Boston Celtics have been sold to Bill Chisholm for $6.1 billion, officially the largest sports team sale in the history of professional sports, beating last year's record, the one a couple of years ago's record from the Washington Commanders were sold. But here's an article on CBS Sports by James Herbert. He talks about the sale a little bit, but yeah, Bill Chisholm of the Symphony Technology Group, the California-based private equity firm, have purchased Boston Celtics this morning. And now here we are just a year after the Celtics won the NBA championship. They have new ownership now. It's always interesting in sports when a team gets sold. I feel like sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you never really expect it. And in this case, I had no idea the Celtics were remotely talked about being up for sale. Could be wrong about this, just because I don't follow basketball as much as I follow other sports, but nonetheless, I legitimately had no idea this was going to go down. And now here we are, Celtics, new ownership in town. The Boston Celtics, the defending NBA champions. And yeah, this article talks about it a little bit, but it'd be interesting for Boston here. It was always interesting for whenever a team gets bought by new ownership. How's this going to change how the teams run? I feel like the Celtics, probably the team that needed to change the least. I'd still argue that in the Eastern Conference right now, they're still the best team in the NBA on paper, and they're still going to be the team to beat until one of these contending teams like the Cavaliers or the Thunder can prove otherwise. So it's going to be interesting to see if that can change anything. Most importantly, how is his ownership going to act? Ownership always acts in their own ways. Maybe they try to profit seek more. Maybe they're going to try to spend more money. Maybe it'll be something like Artie Moreno with the Angels where they spend the money but on the wrong players. They're going to be maybe somewhere in the middle. Maybe they just listen to the GM because they don't know jack shit about basketball. But either way, Celtics have new ownership. It's going to be interesting to see how this affects the team going forward. Second thing we're going to look at NHL standings. NHL playoffs are about a month away now. So it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of these teams close out the season. Obviously, we know who the obvious teams are. Seems the Capitals are pretty set in stone to making the playoffs. Hurricanes, Maple Leafs, Panthers, Lightning. Like all these teams are going to make the playoffs. The Eastern Conference wildcard race seriously heating up. Montreal, where did they come from? I did not at all expect the Montreal Canadiens to be in a spot where they could contend for the playoffs at a negative 16 goal differential, by the way. That's something that needs to be noted. They've allowed 16 more goals than they've scored. Now, here they are as a second wildcard team in the Eastern Conference lined up to play Washington. Now, it's not over for these other teams. The Rangers are still in it, but the Rangers are going to have a difficult path ahead of them. They've played two more games than some of the other teams they're contending with, like the Islanders, the Jackets, the Canadiens, and obviously Ottawa. I'd almost say that Ottawa's a lock at this point. Ottawa has been absolutely incredible these last few weeks. They're a decent chunk ahead of the cutoff, so I really favor Ottawa to make the playoffs at this rate, but who knows? Maybe some luck, Columbus can get back in the playoff spot. They're still a really good team. They've been on a bit of a slide over these last few weeks. That away record right here, 11, 19, and 4 on the road is atrocious compared to how great they've been at home, but Columbus is still in it. The Islanders, they're kind of in it, although their goal differential kind of says otherwise. But the Islanders are a team that could easily make it. They've made the playoffs before. They have that experience. We could see the Islanders sneak in there. Obviously, the Rangers. I'd still argue of the teams in the wild card race, I'd still say the Rangers arguably have the best team on paper. They've not lived up to expectations this year. It's been a down year for Zibanejad, but Rangers are easily in a playoff spot. And then the Canadians. Nick Suzuki has the experience of going to the finals. So does Cole Caulfield. This is a young Canadians team, but they have experience in their best areas that they need the experience at. And that's making the finals. They didn't win. Lost the Lightning at 21, and it's been a hard few years since. But you're the Canadians contending for a playoff spot. We never really expected them to. And obviously the Red Wings. The Red Wings are still in it. Bruins kind of still in it, hanging on, the skin of their teeth. But nonetheless, we can easily see a lot of these teams in this wild card race start to heat up at the end of the season to try to get those last two spots in the playoffs, because it seems like basically everything else in the Eastern Conference is kind of a lock. Moving on to the Western Conference, obviously Winnipeg, they're running away with it. Winnipeg Jets, in my opinion, they're going to make the finals. I feel like this is the Jets here for sure with how good they've been. On offense, defense, Hellebuck's looking like a Vesna contender. Morrissey's building on last season. Kyle Connor's been Kyle Connor. Jets have been absolutely fantastic. Golden Knights, same as ever. But the wild card race also for the Western Conference, it's a lot like the Eastern Conference. Very, very competitive. Minnesota, I would feel like they're still contending for a spot for the Central Division. They're not too far behind Colorado. I would not be surprised if Minnesota gets into that last spot, into the third seed for Central Division, especially if they can get Kaprizov back and Kaprizov can be healthy again. But wild card race. Very tight race between the Blues and the Canucks. The Blues trying to get back into the playoffs. They've missed it the last few seasons, but they have a good team. They have experience on that team. We could easily see the Blues make it, but Canucks have a game in hand on them, so it's going to be hard for the Blues. But the Canucks, they've gone through a lot this year. They went through the breakup of JT Miller. There's been a lot of drama in the organization, but they've been able to contend with it. They've been able to hang with it, and they're in a playoff spot right now. Calgary Flames, they've looked pretty solid. They have some work to do, and obviously the Utah Hockey Club. Be interesting to see if Utah makes the playoffs, or yeah, Utah makes the playoffs right after leaving Arizona. First season in their new city, and they're about to make the playoffs. Well, they could make the playoffs. Not saying they will, but yeah, wildcard races on either conference right now are very, very interesting between more than a few teams. It's going to be interesting to see how the season shapes up as the NHL is officially on the final week, in the final months, excuse me, of its regular season. We're going to see who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. And then moving on to basketball, obviously, March Madness starts tonight. Best month of the year for a basketball fan. I personally got the Michigan State Spartans, got Sparty when I got all this year, but tournament starts today with Creighton and Louisville at 12 o'clock. Less than an hour from now. That's gonna be a really fun game to watch. Purdue and High Point. Well, it's set up at 12:40, and then Wisconsin versus Montana. Could be an upset watch. Personally, I don't see it. I got the Wisconsin Badgers. Houston versus whatever that team is. Houston's gonna walk away with that one. Auburn's gonna walk away with their game. I got Clemson winning their game. But yeah, tournament starts today. Best month of the year if you're a basketball fan, or one of the best months of the year if you're a basketball fan. There's been a lot of upsets the last few years in the tournament. Not Purdue in 2023 being upset as the one seed, only the second time in the history of March Madness that a one seed's been upset. So that's going to be interesting to see how Purdue's going to do after making the finals last year. UConn has not looked like their usual selves this year, but they're back to my national champions. They got the best out of their run. So, but they're still in it. Knowing how the last couple of years have been in college basketball, expect upsets. There's going to be a lot. It's hard to pick a really good graphic because, I mean, when it comes to March Madness, you're basically guessing. You can throw team records out the window because when it comes to March Madness, the only thing that matters is who wants it more. This is my upset pick. Omaha's beating St. John. It's going to happen. Accept it. It will happen. Mark my words. Watch Omaha get shit on. But that's my upset of the bracket is Omaha beating St. John's. Lipscomb, look out for Lipscomb. They're usually a team who poses a lot of upset threats in this tournament. Georgia back in the tournament for the first time in a while. They're playing Gonzaga. Arkansas could go really far. The SEC, man, the SEC has been really strong in basketball this year, and it's seen with how many SEC teams are in the tournament. Look out for UCLA. UCLA ended the season as hot as a team can be. Beat some really good teams throughout the season long. They ended the season strong, and I hear they are back in the tournament. Only a few years removed from when they made the Final Four, so look out for UCLA to do something strong. Michigan Big Ten champions, disrespectful that they're only the 5 seed. Very disrespectful, but hey, Michigan's here. Expect Michigan to do some good stuff. Alabama, they've been Alabama. Lipscomb against Iowa State. I got this as an upset personally. I feel like Lipscomb is a very good team. I got Vanderbilt, Peyton, St. Mary's. I like SEC schools in this tournament. Expect to see them get results there. UNC, man. Basketball fans have been pissed. UNC made the tournament. They walked the floor against San Diego State. That was a blowout. Proper bare bottom ass beating. So UNC, they're still a good team. So expect UNC to do UNC things. I like Akron over Arizona, believe it or not. I'm looking for some upsets, and I go to a MAC school. I'm going to cheer from the MAC schools. Akron, I like it an upset over Arizona. Arizona's never getting upset. They got upset by Princeton a couple years ago when Princeton was the 15th seed. Give me Akron all day long. But yeah, March Madness is here. It's the best time, one of the best months of the year if you're a basketball fan. Be happy. Let's embrace basketball. Let's embrace some fucking chaos. Let's see some upsets. Anyway, that is going to do it for my show today. I thank you all very so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Actually, before we get to that, WWE Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow. European tour continues. I love European crowds, man. European crowds are fantastic. It's a shame that we never get WrestleMania in a European country, but European tour has been great. It's WWE did a great job with John Cena's heel turn. The fact that they had his first episode as a heel in Europe was fantastic. That Belgium crowd is elite. We have more European crowds tomorrow with Friday Night SmackDown. Seth Rollins will be there, talking Roman Reigns and CM Punk after what happened on Monday Night Raw 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Road to WrestleMania. WWE fans embrace it. Road to WrestleMania is here. We know what the big fights are. We just got to see what the rest of the cards are going to look like with the rest of night one, night two. But we got some really good storylines. Hoping to see McIntyre versus Priest. I'm hoping to see Braun Breaker versus Penta and maybe Finn Balor for the IC title. I'm hoping that Rhea Ripley gets the threat match for the Women's World Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton's going to be great. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, night two. I'm expecting it to be night two at least. That's going to be super fun. Jey Uso versus Gunther is going to be underrated. People are trashing on that right now because they don't think Jey Uso has what it takes to be the World Heavyweight Champion. Let him prove himself. Let him prove himself. Jey Uso is popular. People love Jey Uso. Forget about the botch. Botches happen. It's wrestling. You're gonna make some mistakes sometimes. That was just a mistake. Jey Uso is incredible. He has been in the company for a long time. He deserves a chance as the World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, Road to WrestleMania will continue. Coming in tomorrow, Friday Night SmackDown. It's going to be interesting to see what WWE looks like these few weeks because with how great it has been thus far, I'm expecting another historic WrestleMania on April 19th and 20th, officially a month away from night two of WrestleMania, which will be on April 20th, just next month. So be excited. WrestleMania is almost here. And that will do it for the episode today. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.